Hello, everybody. My name is Cameron Earl, and today is finally the time. It finally came, and here it is, the Dead by Daylight Malicious expansion board game. I have been waiting for this expansion for ever since they announced it. I saw it the day they announced it, and it was actually before I got the Dead by Daylight board game itself. And being that obviously the artist is my main, I like playing the knight, and I do enjoy playing the dredge. Especially going to enjoy playing him after his buffs come out, and I think the knight is actually getting something good too. But yeah, this is the Malicious expansion. It comes with the dredge, the artist, and the knight, and it comes with Jonah, Heidi, Michaela, and Vittorio. Obviously, Vittorio is the knight survivor, Heidi is the dredge survivor, and Jonah is the artist survivor. And Michaela is their most profitable survivor. So, if you look on the back of the box, it shows you all the miniatures on the back there, but we'll get a closer look at those later. Enhance your Dead by Daylight the board game experience with this expansion. Play as one of the new survivors and utilize their unique perks to escape from a new cabal of terrifying killers with horrifying abilities you've never seen before. So obviously it comes with the dredge, the knight, and the artist, but the knight himself actually has 3 extra miniatures with his guards, the assassin, the carnifex, and the jailer. This also comes with 1 double-sided game board, which is the Forsaken Boneyard, which is the artist's map, and the Withered Isle, which is the dredge's map. It's a shame, really. I would have actually not wanted the Withered Isle. I definitely wanted the knight's map more, but I guess the dredge went out. This is an expansion Dead by Daylight. You do need at least the normal base game of the Dead by Daylight board game to play this. But yeah, we're going to crack right into this box because this box is also huge. This box is half the size of the Collector's Edition box, which the Collector's Edition box is literally the biggest board game box I have. So we're just going to crack right into this. Whole bunch of good stuff coming out today. There's 2 Nintendo Directs. The Sonic 3 trailer came out today. This got here today. And I think probably the most exciting, well, no, this was the most exciting thing today, but I think the second most exciting thing today was definitely Dracula's releasing in Daylight. So it's kind of just going to be a really good day. And on top of all of it, I'm off work. Obviously, this was made by Level 99 Games, so first going to open this box here. And yep, we have a little Level 99 Games advertisement thing here. I did see that if you can't get your hands on the Collector's Edition, later this year, they are releasing 2 expansions with all the extra killers and survivors with the extra board. Alright, here we got our survivor and maps and stuff. And alright, let's just set this aside. And let's take a look at our board here. Let's take a look at what we're looking at with this board. Get all this trash out of here. Alright. So the first one we're going to look at is the artist's map, which is not as good as I want it to be in Dead by Daylight. It used to be like one of my favorite maps to play on, but not anymore. Alright, so here we have the Eyrie of Crows. Obviously you have your sacrifice and generators spots up there, but this board, as on the site, is described as a more simple map that is easier to get around, I think, is what they described it as. But yeah, like here we got the graveyard, we got the South Library, which the South Library is like in Maine. We got the fountain. We got the Ark, the Sepulchre, which I think is that map's shack. We have the North Library, which is also in Maine, and we have the Eyrie Balcony, which is also in Maine, and then we have the Eyrie Balcony East and the Twisted Tree. So, like, just like Eyrie Crows, Maine is like half the map. This is all Maine right here. So if we flip it over, we're going to see our dredge map, the Withered Isle. Obviously, we have the Thicket. I don't know this map as well. We have, oh geez. We have the Gazebo. We have the Mansion. We have the Ducks. Wait, the Ducks, where's that at? I don't know where that's at. We have the Garden Plot, the South Porch, the Front Porch, the Playground, the Pasture, the North Porch, the Mansion Parlor. So obviously, like, this is main right here. This is main with the pasture right outside. All right, so that's our game boards. Now let's take a look at since we don't need to have the whole board, since we don't need to have the whole box in view no more, I can just take out the cards. So let's get into the survivors first, because obviously we're saving the killers for last, because we saved the best for last here. And alright, these are hard to open already. Alright, and I'm gonna get all the miniatures opened up here too. Alright. So, let's see, where's her miniature at? Okay, so the first survivor we have here is Michaela Reed. There she is. So doing some weird voodoo stuff with that book of hers. And we have her character card here, which she is, for being a wizard, she is actually a difficulty easy character. Michaela Reed is a young mystic able to after the trial alter the trial with her supernatural abilities. All right, her first perk is Circle of Healing, a boon that offers comfort amidst the terror. After you successfully cleanse a hex totem, instead of gaining blood points, a survivor becomes healthy. She has Shadow Step, a boon that conceals the truth. After moving along a path, place the entity on that path. Players cannot move along that path. So that can block the killer, but it also blocks your survivor, so very situational perk. She has Clairvoyance. There is an intrinsic energy in you that sees beyond your vision. At the start of the planning phase, reveal a prop anywhere on the game board. And obviously, like Circle of Healing is 0. It's just an instant perk that you can use anytime. And Shadow Step and Clairvoyance both cost 1. So yeah, Michaela definitely seems to be one of the easier difficulty characters. Her perks aren't all that complicated. So now let's get into our next survivor, which is Hattie Kerr. And let me find her miniature. Here's her miniature. She like feels something in her mind. All right. Oh, and obviously, let me check. Yeah, all these survivors have like little hook holes on the back of their miniatures in case you... They are releasing the upgrade expansion this year too. All right, she is also a difficulty easy character. Hattie Carr is a brave and determined podcaster with the ability to see and feel pieces of great suffering she calls overlaps. Her first perk is 0 blood points, and it's called Overzealous. Fight back against the Ravage motivates and inspires you. When you enter the killer space, gain 1 blood point, simple as that. Her second perk is for 2 blood points, and it's called Residual Manifest. A lifetime of chasing the darkness has taught you that the best disinfectant is light. When the killer would interact in your space, discard an item to prevent that interaction. So you basically turn any item into a flashlight. So it's basically like a flashlight. Then for 1 blood point, she has Inner Focus. This is the perk that relates her to the Dredge, who is the most unique killer in both sets by far. You have honed your ability to see through the haze of the Ravage. When you would move with your card, instead roll 2 skill check dice and choose one. Move directly to the corresponding starting space on the board. You then interact as normal. So one of the starting spaces depending on what number you rolled on the dice. Alright, our next survivor here is Jonah Vasquez. the artist survivor. Let me get him out here. All right, here is his miniature. He's doing some weird running dash thing. I have no clue how this guy's gonna go on the hook, because he is doing some like really weird run. He kind of looks dumb. He is a hard difficulty character. Jonah Vasquez is a mathematical mastermind able to use logic to help his team. His first perk is exponential. When it seems like your number is up, you consider always to recalculate the odds. After you successfully cleanse a hex totem, instead of gaining blood points, a sacrifice survivor moves along any path. They are no longer sacrificed. This does not count as sabotaging the hook. He has overcome for 0 blood points. Oh, that's also for 0 blood points. After you successfully cleanse a hex totem. Alright, yeah, I forgot. So that's another boon. He has overcome. You have calculated how much energy you can risk to expend. At the end of your turn, actually at the end of your turn, if you are wounded, gain 1 blood point. Simple as that. And 2 blood point cost, corrective action. You quickly analyze problems and correct others' work when they make a mistake. When you or another survivor in your space or connected space rolls a 4, treat it as a great success instead. And our final survivor here we have is my favorite of the bunch, and that is Vittorio. He is also a hard difficulty character. Vittorio Toscano has endlessly wandered through the fog, attempting to learn its secrets for ages. And let's get his miniature out. And he doesn't look as dumb as what Jonah Vasquez is doing, but he's doing some weird dash to the side. Huh, you don't want to focus, do you? Focus on him. There's your like close-up of the miniature. Alright, his perks. For 1 blood point, you could use potential energy. Your arcane abilities have adapted to the entity's realm after centuries of wandering, granting you unprecedented control over its many devices. At the start of your turn, remove 1 progress from a generator in a connected space to add 1 progress to a generator in your space. He has the 1 blood point cost Fogwise. In your countless years in the fog, you have seen it all, and when you are focused, you can remember most of it too. At the start of your turn, remove a breakable wall or pallet from a connected path, place it on another connected path without any other component. And so yeah, he can just straight up move breakable walls and pallets. So for 2 blood points, he can use Quick Gambit. When you have the killer's attention, you know how to keep it. When you leave the killer's space, the killer moves with you. Alright, so simple as that. So Vittorio is a brave soul. But now we're going to get into the killers. First, actually, let me open the pack of cards that in here. Let me look under the tray real quick. No, there's nothing. There's nothing under the tray. The tray is as bad as thick as the box. I don't think they needed a box this thick at all. But all right. So yeah, these cards are definitely already used for the dredge. Obviously, we have our survivor perk cards here, so you can use the survivor's perks on other characters. Oh wait, they have some extra cards here, actually. Action, overcome, residual manifest. Inner focus, renewal, self-aware, situational awareness, inner healing, guardian, kinship, fogwise, quick gambit, and then we have the killer perks: pentimento, pain resonance, fearmonger, jolt, claustrophobia. Oh wait, they're putting some demogorgon. They're putting some of the licensed killer perks in here. Like there's some demogorgon perks in here. Huh? Let me look at that. We're going to pick these out and we're going to look at them, I think. Alright, yeah, let's actually do that. So let's pick out, so those are Michaela perks, those are Jonah Vasquez perks, those are Hattie's, that's not a Hattie perk. Let's get out all the survivor perks before we look at. Alright, so the unique perks, the first one is kinship. The importance of friendship has given you strength. Oh my god, this light, bro. It's like it's dark, but it's too bright if I have the light on. Oh, we have kinship. The importance of friendship has given you strength as an interaction. Interact with another survivor in your space or connected space to have them take a survivor bonus turn after this one. Discard this perk from play. You can now access the perk it was covering. We have Guardian. You risk it all to help those in need. When the killer enters your space, force the killer to interact with you instead of taking any other action. This turn. Discard this perk from play. We have Inner Healing. At the start of your turn, you become healthy. Discard this perk from play. So these are all one-time use perks. Situational Awareness. You are aware of your surroundings and share the information with others at the end of your turn. Take a survivor bonus turn. All right. Self-Aware. At the start of your turn, draw 4 survivor perk cards and replace this perk with one of them. This perk can be unchosen, or this perk and the unchosen perk cards are discarded. You have Renewal. At the end of any survivor turn, if you successfully healed another survivor or another survivor successfully healed you, take a survivor bonus turn. We have Inner Focus. When you would move with your card, instead roll 2 skill check dice and choose one. Move directly to the core. Oh, wait. No, that's Hattie Kurzberg. All right. That was that. Now we're going to get into the killers. Fun stuff. All right. So, opening this up here. And I'm pretty sure these are also all hard difficulty killers too. Like this whole set is hard difficulty killers. So the first killer they have us looking at here is the Dredge. And let me just say, oh, his miniature is actually a little heavy. Let me just say, best miniature in the whole fucking game, dude. It is so good. Best miniature by a landslide. Absolutely beautiful. Very spiky, very sharp. And probably the only miniature I would actually classify as heavy because he's just a giant cloud, you know? Oh yeah, so good. He looks so good. They outdid themselves with this miniature. Here's him next to his Survivor Hattie. He's also, I think, the tallest miniature in the game. I think he's actually bigger than the Oni, which the Oni was the biggest. Alright, the Dredge is a hard difficulty killer. The Dredge is a manifestation of your dark thoughts of a once vibrant community, able to teleport between lockers and summon an overwhelming darkness. Your direct movement cards let you ignore pallets and paths, but limit the spaces you can enter. Use your power and Incepted Touch to extend your range beyond the starting spaces. So, yeah, how the Dredge moves is he doesn't have the normal sprint, crouch, vault, sneak cards. He has cards corresponding to the starting spaces, which is kind of how Hattie relates to him with that one perk. But he has some perks that let him move beyond those spaces. So his power is Reign of Darkness. Choose a survivor in your space or a connected space and look at their hand. Choose and discard a movement card from their hand and move them along that card's path. If they move into your space, you may interact with them. So he's moving you. Instead of regular movement cards, his passive is, instead of regular movement cards, you have a set of 6 direct movement cards which correspond to the starting space icons on their board. When moving with these cards, you move directly to the corresponding starting space, then interact as normal. So his first perk costs 1 blood point. It is Darkness Revealed. In your presence, places one thought to be safe are perhaps the most dangerous. When you enter a space with an unoccupied locker, do not reveal a prop. Instead, flip that locker face down and move again along any path before interacting, if you would interact. He has Dissolution. Everything turns to dust. It is as inescapable as the coming of the night. At the start of the planning phase, place a blood point on a path without any other component. Survivors that move along that path become wounded. Remove that blood point from the board at the end of cleanup. And he has Septic Touch. The land of the shadows subsumes all. Healing only delays the inevitable. After a survivor reveals a non-objective prop in your space or connected space, remove that prop from the game board. So that is the Dredge. Let's set his miniature to the side over here. Next, we have the Knight here. And let me get the Knight's 4 miniatures out. Alright. Okay, so here's the Knight himself, the big boy himself, the Knight. His sword's kind of bent at the bottom there, which is kind of unfortunate, but you know, it adds to the super withered look of his sword, I guess. And just the back, I guess. Here's his Carnifex, the big dude who breaks stuff really fast. Obviously, he's got like the skulls and stuff on his stomach, his trophies. And he's got this ginormous sword. He is the only roaming guard. I think the rest of these guards stay in the same space. Here is the Jailer with his little fire branding poker here. Let's get a good look at his face. Oh. There's the Jailer, and then his final guard we have is the Assassin, which is the quick guard who makes you have to mend. So, yeah, there he is. All 4 of his miniatures. Alright, the Knight is a hard difficulty killer to play. The Knight is a strategic killer able to send his faithful guards to hunt for survivors and damage objects on the battlefield. Prioritize placing your guards in key prop spaces to control the board early. Once the exit gates are powered, having your guards patrol near the exit gates will make the late game hard for the survivors. So his power, and it's a big one, is obviously his Guardia Campania. Place a guard onto your space or a connected space. You may remove an existing guard to place it instead. So his first guard is obviously the Carnifex. The Carnifex, at the start of the cleanup, remove a revealed altruism or survival prop in the Carnifex's space, then place the Carnifex onto a space connected to its space. So that's like, he could break pallets, lockers, chests, and crows. The next guard we have here on his power list is the Assassin. The Assassin, when a survivor enters the Assassin's space, they must roll the danger die. On a failure, that survivor becomes rooted. Obviously, the danger die is the die with 4 failures and 2 great successes. So he can just stab them immediately. Good for getting injures. And we have the Jailer. When a survivor performs a skill check in the same space as the Jailer, they must use the danger die. Instead, on a failure, remove the Jailer from play, and that survivor becomes wounded. So the Jailer is also good at getting injured. The Carnifex gets a lot of shit out of your way and makes sure they can't get items and hide in lockers and stuff. But the Assassin seems really good, actually, to kind of corner survivors. His first perk is not in the killer deck for extra perk cards that you can use, because it literally is just the Knight's power. 1. Blood Point, Face the Darkness. You make an example of one of your victims, forcing their abilities to become awed by your power, or their allies to become awed by your power. At the start of your turn, place a guard onto your space or connected space. You may remove an existing guard to place it instead. So you can literally use your power twice in a turn if you pay 1 blood point for this perk. His next perk is one that I use a lot in the video game, which is Nowhere to Hide. For 1 blood point, the machinations of the weakness and craven draw your ire. When you search a locker, the survivor in the locker must roll the danger die instead. Obviously, if the survivor rolls a failure, they get picked up. If they roll anything else, I'm pretty sure the locker just gets removed. So it's more likely for them to get picked up. And for 1 blood point, you can have Hubris. You show no mercy, especially to those foolish enough to resist. When a survivor enters your space, they must spend a blood point. If they cannot, that survivor cannot interact this turn. So you can just take their turn from them. And that is the knight. But now we're getting to the best one, which is the artist, another hard difficulty character because they are all hard difficulty in here. And let's get right to her miniature, which it just looks so good. Like with the crow at the bottom of the base. So making sure she has the ink crow, she has the ink arms, she has the crow on her hand right there. She just crows a lot. And yeah, I think the crow on her base looks really good. I'm sure it looks even better painted. Yes, very, very cool miniature. Alright, and here we have the artist. The artist is a ranged reconnaissance killer, able to launch dire crows across the map to reveal and attack survivors. Place your dire crows on spaces around important objectives and predict the survivor's movements. Combine this with the extra sacrifice progress from Grim Embrace to Snatch Victory. She can have 3 dire crows, and these are them. She'll place those tokens. So her power is Birds of Torment. Place a crow or dire crow from your board into any space. If there is a crow or dire crow in your space, gain 1 blood point. So place a crow or dire crow from your board into any space. Does she have a special setup? It says a crow or dire crow from her board. I don't get what they mean by her board. There's like not any instruction booklet or anything that came with this, so I think her board just means this. Her passive is begin the game with 3 dire crows on your player board. You and survivors can interact with dire crows just like crows. At the start of the planning phase, survivors in a space with a dire crow must place their movement cards face up before you or any other survivor. Whenever you remove a crow or dire crow from play, place it on your board. Oh, okay. So yeah, when she interacts with crows, she places them on her board, and she can place them anywhere. Alright, so her first perk, obviously, if there's any crows or dire crows in her spaces, she's going to be gaining blood points. So obviously her perks are very expensive, including Grim Embrace, which is literally the most overpowered perk I have ever seen in this board game. This perk could literally let her win, like, within the first few turns without any effort. So it's 3 blood points, and it's Grim Embrace. Your active servitude for the entity has not gone unnoticed. After a survivor sabotages an occupied hook, which means when they rescue a survivor, place a blood point from the supply on the saboteur's board. When that survivor is sacrificed, remove all blood points on their board, gain a sacrifice progress for each blood point removed this way. That is crazy. She could get up to 6 sacrifice progress by just hooking 1 survivor. No, up to 7 if that survivor hasn't even been sacrificed yet. She needs 8 to win, so that's crazy. She has Pain Resonance, which is another 3-cost perk. Overwhelming pain reverberates outwards. As an interaction, interact with an unoccupied hook. A survivor in a connected space becomes wounded. And her final perk is 0 blood points. It is Pentimento. You reveal the true power of the totems hidden within their remains. After a survivor successfully cleanses a hex totem, you gain 2 blood points. Yeah, so obviously characters like Michaela have a lot to do with cleansing hex totems. The artist does not want you to do that. And when you're near when you're playing as the artist, you probably don't want to do that. Ain't all the normal killer perks out here. Alright. So we got 3 different killer perks, and these are literally all just the Demogorgons perks. Like, these are the Demogorgons perks. So his first perk is Fearmonger. Your distressing presence drains and weakens your prey. At the start of the planning phase, choose a survivor in your space or a connected space. That survivor cannot activate perks during this round. And obviously it doesn't say discard it, so these are all actually multi-use perks. First one, this next perk is Claustrophobia. Your ties to the entity manifest with your prey attempts to get them away. Well, I read that all wrong. Your ties to the entity manifest when your prey attempts to get away. After a survivor successfully repairs the generator, place the entity on any path. Survivors cannot move along that path. Which, that's the perk that, like, blocks. That's the Cruel Limits perk that blocks all the vault points, the Demogorgon perk. And then Demogorgon's most used perk costs 3 blood points to use. It is Jolt. Your eerie presence charges the air and interferes with technology. After a survivor rolls a 1 or a 2, treat that roll as a failure. Instead, you gain blood point as if they had rolled a failure. Whew. Alright. That's wicked, bro. Alright, let me put that back. And yeah, that's pretty much it. These killers already seem super fun. These are literally like, these two miniatures right here are probably the two best miniatures in both games so far. Especially the Dredge. I think the Dredge just has the best miniature, and I still, like, he's not heavy, like, at all. Like, he weighs nothing, but he's heavier than everything else, all the other miniatures. This is just, I mean, he is just one giant plastic tornado with a bunch of spikes and shit coming out of him. But yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.